Good afternoon, Baseball Way of Life. For Sunday, how you guys doing? Yes, we're only 4 days, yes, Lou Gehrig days away from opening day, and we're coming down to the end of these 30 teams in 30 days, and we have four more to go. And today we're covering the Chicago White Sox. Now, the White Sox are definitely one of the sexiest teams in baseball today. I equate them to being the National League equivalent and the American League equivalent of the San Diego Padres. Both have so much potential, so many young studs, and baseball is just waiting for these two teams to break out. Now, the White Sox are coming to play in 2021. Uh, and you could tell that because they went all out to sign William Hendricks. And who would have thought that William would get a 3-year, $54 million deal? Uh, that's a lot of money to invest in a relief pitcher. But I guess analytics say William's the man, and the Chicago White Sox went out and got him. So we'll see what William can do for the White Sox, and he is the person. They lost a good reliever in Alex Colomé, and Williams going to be as good as, if not a better replacement. So we shall see what that brings us. And there is excitement on the South Side this year. This is one of those years where it doesn't happen that often, but the Sox are anticipated to have a better year than the Chicago Cubs. I don't know if they'll ever win the heart of the Chicago populace, but it's good to see the White Sox be competitive because they really fly under the radar in Chicago. And they'll be seeking their first division title since 2008. And they're bringing back, dusting off Tony La Russa to guide them along the way. So we'll see what Tony can do this year. A lot of people say Tony may be outdated, but he was the man with the moves, and he did think outside the box when he was manager. So we'll see if it still holds this year, if Tony can still work the charm with the modern ball players. He's going to be reunited with Lance Lynn. And Lance Lynn is a nice addition to the Chicago pitching staff. And I like the staff that Chicago is going to have this year. So it'll be interesting to see how Lynn does. I mean, the last few years, statistically, Lynn's been about as good as anybody. So dying to see how he fits in. And they also added Adam Eaton. Adam Eaton is one of those guys that the numbers always say he's a great ball player, so we shall see. And they have a solid lineup. I mean, even though Eloy Jimenez is out, when you have Jose Abreu, he can add Adam Eaton. Hopefully he bounces back. Tim Anderson, who can slash and hit the ball like anybody. And Luis Robert, big things expected of Luis out in the outfield. And we'll see how that goes. But they are stacked. I mean, it's going to be fun. And no doubt about it, losing Eloy is going to be a big blow to the team. But we'll see. He's going to be out most of this season. He hurt himself in an exhibition game this past week. There's a rupture pectoral tendon. And they're hoping he can come back maybe if they're making a playoff run late in the season. But before we delve further into the White Sox in 2021, I want to talk about their history. Now, the White Sox have been around a little bit longer than you and I. They're one of the American League's 8 charter franchises. And the franchise was established as a Major League Ball Club in 1901. So they've been around a long, long time. They were originally called the Chicago White Stockings, but they went and changed the name and shortened it to the Chicago White Sox. And they originally played in a ballpark called Southside Park. How appropriate, because they are the Southsiders. Then they moved to Comiskey in 1910. And then they moved to Guaranteed Rate Field, which was originally known as Comiskey Park and then U.S. Cellular Field, if you're keeping track with all the name changes. And that opened up in 1991. I was there when the ballpark first opened up, and to me, it looked just like a giant stadium. Like the concourses were big, the upper deck was way up there, and you were kind of distant from the field. I mean, it was almost like a beautiful concrete jungle, but since then they've done about 6 or 7 renovations. They've actually lowered the upper deck and put an overhang over the upper deck. They've moved the fences in. They moved some seats closer to the ballpark. They changed the color of the seats. And a pretty good job on changing the ballpark to a more modern facility like some of these newer ballparks are, because Chicago is, well, as we call it now, Cellular Field, when that was first built, was really the last ballpark to be built like that. All the ballparks from that point on became smaller and more amenable to baseball. So The White Sox have worked well to get that ballpark, like all the other modern ballparks. And when it first opened up, they were a big hit. Every ballpark is usually successful, but the White Sox almost drew 3 million their first year. So the potential for the White Sox to draw is there. Like I said, it's just the success of the Cubs the last few years. The Sox have flied under the radar. But there is tradition in Chicago, and a lot of hardcore Chicagoans are White Sox fans. It's almost like the Cubs are like the Yankees of Chicago and the White Sox of the Mets. The hardcore White Sox fans do support the team. And like I said, they started in 1901, 1906. They were part of a defense-oriented team called the Hitless Wonders. And you remember Tinker's Average Chance, that was part of that. And then in 1917, they won the World Series led by Eddie Chacott, Eddie Collins, and shoeless Joe Jackson. Unfortunately, every franchise has its rough moments, and the 1919 World Series was marred by the Black Sox scandal, in which several members of the White Sox were accused of conspiring gamblers to fix games. And we know Joe Jackson is one of those people. So still to this day, people talk about shoeless Joe Jackson and 1919 squad, and they'll always be part of baseball folklore for better or for worse. But they were a good team. Just unfortunate the circumstances that surrounded them. Now, probably the best era of Chicago baseball was from 1951 and 1967, when the White Sox had their longest periods of sustained success, and they had a winning record for 17 straight seasons. That's pretty impressive. You don't see too many teams with that in their cap. So the White Sox did very, very well for 17 straight seasons. They were known as the Go-Go White Sox, and as we recall, and was it 1959 or so? That's when they went to the World Series. And it was about basic speed and getting on base versus power hitting. And they had such good hitters and players as Minnie Minoso, Nellie Fox, and Willie Aparicio, who defined Go-Go Sox baseball. And Billy Pierce was one of the great hurlers that they had. So they redefined the way that baseball was played, Sox style, and then they were pretty good. So, but then after that 17 straight season, the White Sox were kind of like one of the lower tier teams in baseball. There was always rumors about them being moved because attendance at the Sox games really dwindled. Bud Selig even agreed to a handshake deal that would give them control of the ball club and move them to Milwaukee. And as I recall, the Sox were even testing out that market, playing like 10 or 12 games a year in Milwaukee before the deal to move the Sox to Milwaukee was squashed. And it was blocked by the American League. And things were really looking bleak. And again, there was always rumors of them moving somewhere. And Dick Allen has actually been attributed to like helping the Sox stay in Chicago because he brought some sex appeal to the White Sox. And some say him and Bill Veeck. Bill Veeck was the ultimate showman. He made it fun to go to Comiskey Park. And he returned as owner in '75. And Dick Allen had some great seasons prior to that. And even in '75, without much money, they won 90 games and captured the heart of the American League. Those Sox did. The Sox were fairly successful in the 1900s and early 2000s. They had winning seasons from 1990 to 2005, which isn't bad. 12 winning seasons out of that 15-year period. And Frank Thomas sort of became the face of that franchise. The big slugger won the hearts of all the Pale Hose faithful. So it's been a good run for the White Sox. They had some lean years, they had some bad years, but there's a lot of good years sprinkled in the franchise history. And like I said, 2021, they're hoping is one of those years that they can even have and breed a little bit more success. The projected lineup for the White Sox is going to be Tim Anderson at shortstop. He's just great for the game. He's a fun-loving guy, and he's a great hitter. And they love him in Chicago, that's for sure. Yasmani Grandal, one of the top-tier catchers in baseball, batting second. Jose Abreu, returning MVP, batting third. Yohan Moncada, third base. Luis Robert, big things expected with Luis out in center field. Adam Eaton in right field. And Andrew Vaughn is going to be the DH. Now, Andrew's one of the top prospects in baseball, and I think the Sox are kind of lucky to have him at this point because they're looking for him to fill the shoes of Eloy Jimenez. And I'm not sure if they expected Vaughn to come up this soon, but he will be up, and it may not be that bad after all. Of course, you never want to lose any star player, but Andrew Vaughn could fill the bill for the White Sox, and then Lurie Garcia in left and Nick Madrigal as the catcher. So that's a solid lineup, and despite losing a potential all-star in Jimenez, I don't think there's going to be much drop in the White Sox this year. I still like them big time. And the bench, they're led by, remember, Jonathan Lucroy is still around. He's their backup catcher. So if you're going to have a backup, you want one like Croy in there. And then Nick Williams, outfielder, he's been around. So some solid bench players there. But the pitching rotation is the thing is going to be key for the White Sox. I mean, they got some solid arms, and it's good to see Lucas Gioido from the left-hand side. He'll become the ace this year, I think, again. And people were waiting for him for a long time. Highly regarded prospect, and he finally turned it around the last few seasons, and he's really turned into a great pitcher. And Dallas Keuchel from the left-hand side, veteran pitcher. We know a few years ago, he was a Cy Young Award candidate, and he's gritty. He's a pitcher's pitcher. Lance Lynn, like I said, has revived himself, and his spin rotation and everything else. He's looking like one of the top-tier pitchers. So 1 through 3 is a pretty formidable threesome there for the White Sox. Dylan Cease and right-hander, and Carlos Rodon. Carlos Rodon, high hopes expected from him from the left-hand side. And there won't be that much pressure on him being the 5th starter, so we'll see what he can do this year. And then I said the bullpen with Colomé out. He's no longer on the team. William Hendricks. Big money, big money, big money. Show me the money. 3 years, $54 million. He'll be the ace reliever. And if he can live up to the way he's pitched the last couple of years, the White Sox have themselves a good man. The rest of the bullpen, Aaron Brummer from the left-hand side, Evan Marshall, right-hand side. They're looking to be the 2 setup man to get to Hendricks. And then Garrett Crochet, right-handed pitcher, big prospect. I think they're going to ease him in a little bit slowly from the right-hand side coming out of the pen. And then rounding out the rotation in the bullpen is Cody Heer, Matt Huster, and Nick Turley. So I know people will despond with L.A. Jimenez being out for most of the year, but don't fear. I still think the White Sox are going to win the division. I think there's just too much talent. And at one time, I was picking them to be a better team than the Yankees this year. But we shall see, because with young players like that, some will develop quicker than others, so we shall see what will happen. But it's going to be a good year for you Southsiders, without a doubt. And I'm predicting them to win first place. And once you get to the dance, when you have 3 starters like the White Sox have and William Hendricks, I think things are going to work out without a doubt. So I think they'll win more than 90 games. I think they'll win the division. And it wouldn't surprise me if all things go right for the White Sox to be in the American League Championship Series against the Yankees, maybe even beating the Yankees. That's my prediction. So hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm doing it live, most of these live from now on, so I hope you're enjoying the live concept. Going Facebook Live, Twitter Live, and YouTube Live. We're doing it all, huh? So that'll be it for now. If you guys have any comments or anything, always feel free to leave them. And if you like this video, please hit like. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, please do. We'd love to have you. Now, like I said, stay tuned. There's going to be a lot of good baseball coming up in the near future. So we're all looking forward to having you. That's it for now. And for now, adios. Have a great day, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.